what's happening guys? It's Russ from hookfish.co.uk here, and I just want to talk to you today about how to attach the reel seat to the blank. So we won't be going over the handle, but it's just how you actually attach a reel seat to a blank. Okay? Okay, so this particular reel seat here is a Pacific Bay reel seat. I really like using these because they are really solid bits of kit. Some reel seats, they are really lightweight and the quality just isn't there, but with the Pacific Bay ones, these ones, they're particularly very nice. And we'll be putting that on again. This is another Pacific Bay product. It's a Pacific Bay, it's a 9'4" weight 4-piece, and we'll have a look and see how we put this on the rod. Okay, so I basically just clamp this into the rod turner, and I take a Sharpie, this is just a China marker, and then I'll place this on. Now with this particular reel seat, the blank doesn't go all the way through, so there is a stop in that hole where you can thread a fighting butt in. So particularly on this one, this only goes so far on the blank. You see it doesn't come on, and it's got the centerpiece, the actual the butt cap is off on this one. So if I put that in, it goes to the same distance along the blank as it does without it. Just got that in place well. There we go. So I just put that in as far as it will go, and then I mark off on the blank. Give that a turn. Give that a turn. And we mark that off on the blank up to where that goes. So now if I take that reel seat out of the way, for the moment that's no longer in the equation, and then basically it's just marked off on the blank. You can see exactly where. That's how far it goes. Okay, so we'll put that back in the turner. And what I'm looking to do now is space. I take my thin masking tape. Now you see, if I put that back on, it's very loose. It's flapping around on there. That's not what you want. So you won't get a blank with the same diameter as the internal diameter on the reel seat. So you always got to pick up the space a little bit and pad it out with some masking tape. It's not a problem using masking tape. The resin that you put in between, as you'll see, goes off like concrete anyway. So all I do with this, and I'll start at the end, is make sure that this is down in the rod blank. There we go. And then I'll just turn that. And I'll start off with 5 or 6 turns. And take that off. Take your reel seat. Let's see if it goes on. Now, there's still quite a bit of flap in there, so I'll probably do another 5 or 6 turns on that piece. Turns. It's getting there. It can probably do with another 3 turns. You're not looking for it to be too tight, but you definitely want it to be at a point where you can feel resistance when you're putting it over the top. Okay, probably could do with 1 more. I'll try that. Yeah, that was too much. Okay, we'll take it back to where it was. Let's take that one off. Find it. we go. And then what you want to do is you want to leave a gap between the next lot. So I'm aiming to get 4 different sections on this to hold it nice and tight. So we'll start there. You see I've left a little gap between them two. It's probably a centimetre of a gap. And what it does is when you've put all the resin on, you fill up the gaps with the resin, you go over the top of it all with resin, and as you're pushing this over, it pushes the resin into the gaps, so you don't push it all off the edge. Basically it keeps the resin in, and that's a nice tight fit on that end one now. So we'll do the same. I think it was probably about 12 turns on the last one, so we'll do the same on this one. And the reason you start at the furthest point is so that it's not difficult. You can yeah, that'll be fine. You can test basically as you're going along backwards then. If you was to start at this end, it would be difficult to push it on, and then you wouldn't be able to feel the resistance on the next one and the next one and the next one. Okay, let's try that. That's a good solid fit on that first one. And the last one. Now that is a solid fit for a real seat. Okay, so we're good to go. What you need to take into account now is where your reel fits. So on here, the reel slots into here. That'll be facing up, and you need to work out where your blank, the spine on your blank is. So what I normally do is I normally take roughly the centre and put a little mark on there with the China marker. Then I know exactly roughly where that is, and if I line that up with the lines that I've made on the blank to find the spine, then I should be good to go. So I won't go over finding the spine in this video. I'll probably make another video on finding the spine. It's very important that you get that spine. It's so quick and easy to do, but you have to do it basically if you want your rod to stay straight and not twist and perform as good as what you can make it perform really. So yeah, we should be good. So what I'll do now is I'll mix up some resin. It's just 2-part resin, 50-50 mix resin, and we'll just apply that into these sections here, get it ready to apply the reel seat, and we'll come back to you. Okay guys, so we got the resin mixed. Like I say, it was just a 2-part resin and hardener, 50-50 mix. So all we need to do now is apply it to basically the centres of the masking tape here, coating everything on here, trying not to cross the line over here, because basically it's going to be covered by the cork handle anyway, but we're trying not to get it over the edges here. I should lock that into place like so, and then we'll start adding this. So basically what you've got to do is you've got to get ready, got to keep turning this so that the resin doesn't keep falling off. I always have a piece of foil, and then I just put it underneath, so if it drips off I can just pick it up, it doesn't go everywhere then. And have this ready, the reel seat ready to go. I've already found the spine on this rod blank and marked it at the intervals randomly basically, and then ready for this. So I've marked off on here as well the rough centre of where the reel is going to sit, where the reel goes in, so that the reel is going to be nice and straight with the spine and with the eyes once I put them on. So basically you just get the resin and you start filling up the holes. Pretty much. And remember to keep rotating it, because this stuff will just keep dripping off. And once you get to a point where you've got most of the gaps completely filled and there's a nice smooth covering, there's a gap there with nothing in it. That bit's definitely filled there. And I need to that end. Okay, so I don't know if you can see this very well, but you've got basically a really good covering here of resin which has filled all the gaps. All the masking tape is dripping wet in resin at the moment, and if I leave it without turning it, it's all going to fall off the bottom. So we're in a good position here at the moment. What's going to happen is when I put the real seat on, it's going to push that resin up, so you're going to get some drips at the end. You're going to get some all the holes, everything's going to get filled when I put that real seat on. So what I tend to do is I tend to keep rotating this as I put the real seat on. What you want to do is make sure you've got nothing on your hand when you're holding the real seat, because you want that real seat to stay nice and beautiful. So I know where the spine is on this rod. I know where the reel is going to sit on here just by looking at the top, so it makes my life nice and easy. I just keep rotating and start putting it on. So I just twist backwards and forwards as this goes on, just to stop any, and keep going backwards and forwards. Take your time, so it fills and it coats all of the inside of that reel seat. Keep going backwards and forwards, try not to push as much of that resin off the end as possible. And we're there. So with this particular reel seat, it goes all the way to the end, because like I said, there's that stoppage inside, so it can't go out. And you see the resin will just keep coming out at the end there, like it has. So what my aim now is to align this line up with the line on the actual rod that I made to show me where the spine is. So we're about there. That's about it. What I'll do now is I'll get some tissue and take off the excess there and there, and I'll try not to leave any excess on the reel or on the rod. Like I say, the handle that you create and the handle that you put on is going to cover up this end piece anyway, but yeah, there, you're pretty much in line, and that's it. All I do now, I leave it rotating just so that the resin doesn't come out, and you can just leave it for a couple of hours until that resin goes nice and tacky. And I'll just put my extension bar on the end like that. Loosen up the rod blank, get that down to the chuck, tighten these back up so it doesn't fall off, and then you're there. That is your reel seat attached to your rod blank. You're good to go. What I tend to do though is keep checking it every sort of 15 minutes to start with, and every half an hour after that, and just make sure that reel seat is still in line with the rod blank. And that's your lot on attaching the reel seat to the rod blank. Catch you next time.